How's everybody doing? Welcome to the Greater Reset 5 manifestation. Let's make some noise. 5 events. Hey, we are so grateful to have everybody here. Myself and Miriam, we've been working hard for the last 6 months and all of our team to welcome you here to Morelia, Mexico again. We want to first off just thank everybody who is a part of this, our production crew. Please give a hand to We Are Not Zombies, to our interpreters back there who are making sure that all the local Mexicans who want to come can hear the talks in Spanish. All the talks will be available for Spanish. We're so grateful for you guys being here. We're going to talk more in just a bit about what manifestation means and the trajectory that the Greater Reset has been on. We started with activation, then expansion, integration, co-creation, and now we're at manifestation. That's going to be our theme for the next 5 days. So we appreciate y'all joining us. And We're going to start things off here with an opening ceremony and then an intention setting exercise that we're really excited about. So before we get to any of the program, we want to make sure that we all sort of, those who are at home listening, and we want to thank you all who are watching at home, and those who are here in person, that we ground ourselves and understand why we're here and what we hope to gain over the next few days. And also I want to just make it clear that everybody is welcome here. We're about to have an opening ceremony. We're going to give some thanks to the local indigenous communities and do some prayers and some ceremonies. But our community is big and diverse in a number of ways, including spiritual and religious. So everybody's welcome. Christians, Muslims, Buddhists, atheists, spiritual types, and any and all of the above. You're all welcome here. Just want to make that clear. So please welcome Yoshi and Pola Pantera to the stage for our opening ceremony.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for being here. And so just a little understanding of what we're doing is a prayer, and we have a beautiful community altar here. The altar is not that we are, it's for intentions. It's for us to put our purpose of our energetic in a symbolic way, our vision, and also respecting our ancestors, and as well as the elements of what makes us be alive here. We got the fire, the water, the earth, the air. And also we're going to invite you all, if you have something that you would like to bring over during the week. It could be a rock that you can find out there and you can put all your intention. It could be something you want to write, that you want to, after the 5 days, you want to burn and let go, that it doesn't let you grow. Anything, a fruit, anything that you will feel that you want to put there, just come on over and just add it, and then we respect this every day. And a prayer, what it is, a prayer is that we are here to acknowledge our existence, and also we respect our life and respect our ancestors and respect the future generations. So every decision and action is very important for us. So right now we're gonna do this little prayer, bringing the energies from Ecuador, as well as respecting the land here in Mexico and connecting with the land of the north. So basically, if you have heard about the eagle and the condor flying together, we're basically making that happen. So please put that intention there. She wants to invite you all to stand up, please.
Y nos vamos a ubicar hacia el oriente, donde sale el sol.
We're gonna face west, el oriente, ¿no? Okay.
Y vamos a poner toda la intención ahí.
With all our intention.
Vamos a ver todas las culturas de Oriente, toda la sabiduría ancestral que viene de esos países.
All the cultures of the West and all the wisdom of the West, all the countries, all the people, diversity.
Todo lo que hemos aprendido de esa sabiduría ancestral.
Everything we have learned from that wisdom.
Y les vamos a sonreír.
And we're going to smile to it.
Donde sale el sol, el oriente. Y vamos a girar ahora hacia... Sí, vale. Ajo.
Clearing the energies right there.
Y ahora vamos hacia el norte.
To the north, right on your left.
Donde está toda la mente, el razonamiento, el conocimiento, también lo vamos a apreciar.
Where there's a mind, the knowledge, we're also going to appreciate it.
Todo lo teórico, lo metodológico, la ciencia,
Methodology,
gracias.
theory, science, thank you. And we go and clear the energies there.
Y ahora nos ubicamos hacia occidente. Vamos a ver a todos los pueblos originarios, original people, communities, indigenous cultures, guardians of the Amazon jungle. Thank you. Y ahora vamos hacia el sur, a todo ese conocimiento que viene desde el sur, a todos los maestros, guías que nos han enseñado desde las tierras del sur, a los Andes, a todo el conocimiento de la tierra, la sabiduría. Les sonreímos y agradecemos.
All the life of the South, the knowledge, the wisdom, our ancestors, we smile them as well.
telúrica que nos sostiene, sabiendo que somos parte de un gran todo, le sonreímos y nos conectamos con ese cielo.
To the cosmos, to the skies, to the infinite, we smiled as well. Thank you.
Ajá. Y hacia abajo, en la tierra, nuestro sustento, nuestra gran madre, conectando nuestros pies bien sostenidos. Agradecemos por toda esa nutrición, toda la vida, madre, tierra.
To the earth that holds us, to the ground, the soil that gives us life, we thank and smile to Pachamama.
Y nos invito a poner las manos en el corazón
The hands in your heart,
para conectar con nuestras profundidades, adentro, donde somos, donde yo soy. Vamos a sentir ese corazón latiendo.
to connect to the heart, to the deeper inner self, to who I am, who I want to be. We feel each other, we feel ourselves.
Sabiéndonos como seres inteligentes, capaces de poder crear, somos creadores. Vamos a conectar con ese fuego interno que tenemos, nuestro poder personal, para ubicarnos aquí en esta jornada, esta convención de creatividad, en donde estamos planteando ideas que permiten la liberación de la tierra y de todos los seres.
Connecting to the inner self, the fire, the power within, to connecting to all life, all the beings.
Por nuestra fuerza de voluntad, para que tengamos toda esa valentía para hacer cambios radicales que se necesitan para vivir una vida en armonía.
To the power of will, for us to take the actions that we need to take for us to live in harmony.
Sabiéndonos como parte de esta gran conciencia, todo, universo, Dios, gran logos, nos sentimos y nos ubicamos en esta presencia ahora para emprender y empezar esta jornada de conversaciones, información importante.
Connecting to our consciousness, our empowerment to be present here now in this moment in time, for us to appreciate this convergence and wisdom during this time for us to move forward as a one earth, one life. Thank you.
Y solo por último momento vamos a poner toda la intención del corazón y del amor para que todos los niños sean cuidados, para que todos los niños sean tratados con amor.
And lastly, we put that intention of love for all the kids and the future generations, for them to be treated with love and to grow with love. Thank you.
Thank you. Y desde esa alegría vamos a aplaudir.
Un aplauso, gracias. The blessing. We're going to do a really quick blessing. So we're going to see if we can synchronize a clap, all of us together in one sound. And then we're going to rub our hands. 3, 2, 1. One more time. 3, 2, 1. Nice. Rub your hand. Put your intentions or your love. The reason of our existence, the reason why we're here, the reason that we're going to move forward, taking action, creating for a new life, a better world, healthy and abundant for future generations. We're going to do all our blessing. Send this love right here to the altar. 3, 2, 1 with the sound. And deep breath. Open your hands and... Gracias, familia.
Gracias.
Gracias, hermano.
Gracias.
Do a round of applause for Yoshi.
Everyone, let this event be a fresh new beginning for all that needs a fresh new beginning. and stay focused, stay determined. Don't let anything hold you back, okay? Set your intentions right there in the basket that I have for you, and let's move forward as one. Enjoy your time here.
All right. Thank you all for participating in that. We got one more exercise before we get started. I know this is different than we've done the years past. You know, we try to pack as much information as possible, but we also want to make sure we create the container. You guys feeling good? Feel a little more ready? Okay, so we are tight on time, so I need you to work with me on this. For the next 15 minutes, we're going to keep it tight 15 minutes, and then we're going to roll into our next speaker to respect everybody's time. So I don't want you to run around the room. I want you to find the 5 closest people to you. We're going to break off into groups of 6, just the 5 closest people to you. 2 questions. What are you here to share, and what are you here to receive? You got 15 minutes. We'll be back. And guys, if you're at home, please participate as well. If you're watching, you know, with your family or friends, what are you here to receive? What are you here to teach? And we'll be back in just a few minutes. All right, everybody, about 5 minutes left, and then start to wrap it up here if you can. We're going to continue on. Thank you. All right, everybody. Please get back to your seats. We're going to wrap this up and get ready to continue. All right. Video. All right, everybody. Thank you for participating in that. Y'all feel a little more grounded now? You know what you're here for? If you guys could take your seats again, we're going to get on to our next speaker. Thank you for participating with that and for respecting the time that we have here. I want to just take a brief moment to remind everybody that this event would not be possible without our sponsors. If you go to thegreaterreset.org/sponsors, you can see all of the sponsors we worked with. We've got vendors out here. Please show them love. And throughout the event, you're going to see some ads playing that are specifically from our sponsors. Guys, if you could take your seats, everybody, please. Shh. Yeah, we'll do that if we have to. We'll go back to that. All right. There's a reason people do that. It works. All right, so throughout the week, you'll see us playing sponsor ads, and we just, again, want to say thank you to them. Please check them out. If you're looking for new vendors, support them. If you're looking for new companies that are aligned with the message, check them out, because truly, without the sponsors, we wouldn't be able to pay for the venue, for the hotels, for everything we're doing. So just a big round of applause to all of our sponsors. And Miriam is going to introduce our first speaker of the day.
All right. Well, if you have ever in your life felt a deep, profound spiritual experience that connected you so deeply to the core, to whatever you want to name it, to God, to spirit, to the divine, to creator, that is the type of experience that I've had with this woman that I am introducing today to the stage. The medicine she brings to our community is like no other that I have connected with. So I am very honored to bring her up here. I know she has a wealth of knowledge to share with you all, and I hope that you tune in to her and you check out her collective, I Heal Collective, and her courses that she is offering as well. And without further ado, Bodre.
Check, check. Mic check, good. Thank you so much for that beautiful introduction, Miriam. I am so honored to be the opening speaker here at the Greater Reset. Check, check. Check, check. If I have to, I can just use the other mic if you need. All right. Good? Can you guys hear me? Yes. Perfect. I'm so honored to be the opening speaker here at the Greater Reset and so inspired by the pure energy, intention, and hard work of the creators and the organizers. Thank you so much. There will be a tomorrow. There will be smiles, there will be freedom. There will be parades that stretch as far as the miles of gratitude for those who stood in harm's way. The hostages of truth that helped get us through. Because of us, there'll be those who be ready to bring about change. People are getting a really close look at all the wasted potential that happened from standing still. And we are faced with a seemingly impossible task. And it's okay to be afraid. Our dilemma stands before us like a mountain carved into a blockade. The sheer magnitude of it will be enough to dissuade anyone. How do we save the world? In the words of the great artist Shane Koizan, the burden seems immense, but we can do this. We must do this. We must take the martial arts approach to loving each other, love as self-defense. And we are facing crisis. And there seems to be so many who just miss the truth. And I don't know if it's because they can't accept it or because committing to change is a scary prospect for anyone. But the most alarming part of the statement, we are facing crisis, is not the word crisis. It is the word we. Because those two letters take responsibility off one and rest it squarely on the shoulders of everybody. But our strength will come from finding a way in sharing and shouldering the burden of turning the impossible into somehow. Somehow we can do this. We must do this. We must dismiss apathy. We must reject uncertainty. We must be the next chapter in our story, even though we will not see global change immediately. And I don't know about you guys, but I am tired of living in a world that says people only come together when faced with catastrophe. Let us come together today, a manifestation of the world that we will create. All right, so I made a pretty extensive slideshow, and I'm not going to be able to go through it all. I'm only going to touch on a few things, but I wanted you guys to all...
Is it in here? Where's it at?
It's like underneath. It's okay. I can just use this one if you want.
Okay, then go
Yeah,
for it.
that's fine. All right, like I said, I made a pretty... Thank you. All right, so I did make a pretty extensive slideshow, but I'm only going to be able to touch on a few of these things. But I want you guys to all have the information to take with you to dive into it at your own time. All right. Click. All right, in our modern world, the paradigm of Western medicine presents both remarkable strengths and critical shortcomings. On one hand, it excels in emergency care, swiftly tackling surgeries and treating serious injuries. It can be a true lifesaver. But let's dive a little deeper into the nuances. One glaring issue is the overwhelming reliance on drugs. While painkillers, antibiotics, and even surgeries have their place, the profit-driven model of big pharma significantly influences medical decisions. Hospitals in this paradigm profit from pain, death, and suffering, and it fosters a disconcerting reality that healthcare is often treated as a ruthless business. It is wealth care instead of healthcare. And furthermore, treatments are sometimes designed not to empower patients, but to create a cycle of dependence, perpetuating the reliance. The protection of knowledge becomes a cult-like shield, often legally enforced, restricting access to alternative care. And even more concerning is the persecution faced by holistic practitioners and patients. This further divides the medical community. Bureaucracy has held up a stop sign to our compassion, saying nothing can be done. It is the same spin that has been spun ever since they loaded apathy into a gun that sits unlocked in a cabinet of despair. There are holes in the safety net in the shape of people. We must reevaluate our approach to healthcare, fostering an environment where diverse perspectives and patient empowerment prevail. It is time to build a bridge, to shift the paradigm. And we couldn't ask for a better place to do this than in Mexico. I've been so gratified to find doctors here that bring me in for consultations. They're excited by our technologies and our protocols. And really, many of them have been trying to build this bridge for years. It's just us that's catching up. Click. Okay, so here at iHeal Collective, we understand that mixed modalities are the best way to treat patients and clients. What is mixed modality? It is a symphony of healing. And although one modality or approach can be effective, the optimal approach is to diversify treatments to encompass many methods and methodologies to achieve the mental, physical, spiritual, and emotional health. These are the 4 parts of the body that must be brought together into alignment to achieve real healing. Many treatments seem so structured, very cookie cutter. I'm sure many of you have been for a massage where it's the same timing and treatment for every patient. And although it can feel good, it's not usually corrective. And this is because people are not numbers. We need to treat based on diverse biochemistry and individual traumas. From the years that we've been doing this and the studies we have done, we have found that this is the most effective way to get long-lasting and dramatic results that are not just a band-aid to our pain, but it's actually corrective therapy. This is comprehensive medicine. And please, if you need to get this done, get it done sooner than later. It is always easier to prevent than to treat chronic illness. All right, have you ever felt a little bit under the weather before a miraculous turnaround? Well, this is the mystique of the healing crisis. I always like to touch on this because it's often misunderstood and can cause patients to stop their healing programs or detox protocols prematurely. And it's actually a positive signal from your body. Think of detox as a dance. As your body purges toxins, you might feel a temporary dip in well-being. It is a sign that your system is cleansing and regenerating, especially if toxins are the root of your health problems. And life fills us with toxins, from stress, pollution, medication, food, chemtrails, you name it. To break free, step 1 is to halt the toxic influx. As your body detoxifies, stored toxins make an exit, and it's not usually very comfortable. All right, so let's talk about the 4 parts of the body. We're going to start with the physical. This is the world of allopathic basics. What are we made of? We are 86% hydrogen and oxygen, 12% carbon, 2% everything else, sulfur, nitrogen, phosphorus, calcium, etc. Let's put what we are made of back into our bodies. Let's start there. Shocking, I know. If you can turn on your regeneration system, your immune system, and get your organs operating at the best of their capabilities, your entire life will change. We can regenerate. And when I get into our technologies, I'll tell you a little bit about how to do that. All right, what else are we made of? We're electricity, we're vibrations, we are energy. How does energy move through our bodies? Through our meridian channels. We have 12 meridians and 2 central-line meridians. These govern our energy. And when you get blockages in these meridians, whether it be physical, mental, spiritual, or emotional, your energy is dripping, not flowing. We're the plumbers. All right, and let's talk a little bit about tension. Most practitioners and doctors will treat the injuries you're suffering from. And of course, this is a good thing. But unfortunately, most of them have no understanding that the injury is actually just a symptom of tension. Tension pathways. How tension is moved and is stored in the body is completely overlooked. This is why even after surgeries and other therapies, we keep suffering again and again from the same problem. It's because we didn't deal with the root of it. All tension starts in the hands and the feet, which makes sense. These are the first things that interact with the world. And this leads to injury and breakdown of cartilage. For example, tennis elbow, carpal tunnel, arthritis. These are the same condition. It is all a buildup of tension. And if you need some help relieving tension, I will be doing a workshop on Monday to show you how. Or if you want someone else to do it, come see our practitioners. They will do a combination of advanced reflexology and Rain Earth body therapy. This is a lethal combination for tension, inflammation, and injury. All right, have an understanding about the systems of the body and how they work together. And the more that you can understand this, the more that you can run this as a diagnostic system. And due to time, I can't go over all the systems of the body and probably interest, but I do want to touch on the most ignored system from allopathic medicine, the lymphatic system. The lymphatic system is a vital component of the body's immune system. It is an intricate network of vessels, nodes, and organs. It fights off infection and maintains fluid equilibrium in the body. It keeps our immune system functioning. By allopathic medicine's complete disregard and removal of lymphatic organs and nodes, they can obliterate the immune system. I'm sure all of you know someone that is missing their appendix, their spleen, their tonsils, and most of these people will struggle with health problems for the rest of their life unless they can figure this stuff out. The lymphatic system is part of the circulatory system. But unlike the blood in your veins, it doesn't have a heart to pump it, so it relies on a few things to keep working. How do we do this? Number one, take it back to nature. The sun is an amazing detoxifier. Water's very regenerating. Get your feet in the ground or the sand or the dirt. Discharge those negative ions. And if you want to become an expert on how to do this, please go see Paul Roy's workshop. His 5 pillars of health dive really, really deep into this, and I honestly don't know anyone else that's more of an expert in this field. Unblock the meridian channels. Advanced reflexology, traditional Chinese medicine. Diffuse hydrogen into your cells. We'll talk about that in a minute. Movement, exercise, inversion, things like lymphatic drainage, gua sha, all of these things work. All right, let's move on to the emotional and mental body. Within the intricate tapestry of our beings, there exists a profound connection between our emotional experiences and our physical selves. The notions of repressed trauma, those silent echoes of past emotional and mental distress, where do they go? The body is a reservoir of our experiences and often retains these suppressed emotions. Studies show that chronic stress, often stemming from unresolved traumas, can trigger a cascade of physiological responses. Consider tense shoulders and knots in the stomach, inexplicable fatigue. Our bodies, in their wisdom, sometimes speak what our words cannot express. Understanding the interplay between our emotional past and our physical present is crucial. All right, let's talk about a little bit of our spiritual body. I believe that we are multidimensional beings. Our bodies are simply the physical expressions, us living in the 3D. Healing at a spiritual level, whatever spiritualism means for you, allows us to heal more fully on all other levels. And we can clear memories from our cells, DNA, using many different modalities, but the one most accessible to everyone is breathwork and intention. And I believe after myself, there's Illuminati Congo on. He's going to teach us all how to breathe. So our bodies are carrying memories that from every trauma. They can manifest into pain, ailments, and any disorder, disease, and even chronic illness. I would like to take a quick moment to talk about one of our healers, Asia. She has been an energy work mentor to me, and when I asked her about her thoughts on the spiritual body, she told me that her journey with quantum shamanism and other modalities has led her through many aspects of healing on multiple levels. After working on thousands of clients, she has found the most effective treatments are the ones that address the spiritual level first. Very interesting, and I've come to realize that she is true. All right, so what I'm not going to do today, click. What I'm not going to do today, because we don't have the time for it, is to go into all the reasons why the spike protein and the jab are bad for you. If you don't know that by now, you haven't been paying attention. And frankly, I'm surprised that you're here. But what I do want to talk about today briefly is the fact that our bodies are made to heal. There is nothing that we can achieve without the right mindset, energy, good science, and manifestation. All right? Yeah, that's right. Along with myself, Dr. Ross Anderson, and other brilliant doctors and practitioners around the world, we have formulated a program that we call Jab Rehab. We started this show almost 2 years ago on Rumble to educate and explore. You guys can look it up there. And we dive deep into what's actually going on in the body, how to detox and rehabilitate the body using different methods and treatments. But I want to focus today more on solutions. There are so many options available for you to detox the body, based on where you are geographically, what you can afford, what's available to you, and what your body and your biochemistry is most in alignment with. All right, and the first thing to figure out what you need for your body, I always recommend, is live blood analysis. Live blood microscopy is not a diagnostic procedure. It is a personalized key to unlocking the secrets of your health. It is literally the universe inside. This technique allows us to detect things like nutritional imbalances before conventional tests can even raise alarms. It provides a unique experience on your well-being and is a cinematic exploration of your blood, and it reveals vital clues about what your body needs and its potential imbalances. Live blood analysis unveils a stress on your immune system and is a critical indicator of your overall health. It is a close-up view on your cells and exposes secrets behind poor digestion, EMF damage, free radicals, deficiencies, and toxicities. Dr. Ross Anderson is a pioneer with over 7,000 live blood examinations, and he has uncovered profound differences in the blood of the vaccinated and recently the unvaccinated. Viral shedding is real. And now we got like smart dust. Oof. But he will be here for this week, and he will be educating a select group of people this spring, maybe one of you guys, to help us lead us through the fascinating exploration at life is at its most intricate form, the blood that sustains us all. Click. All right, Christian was a patient of mine in his early 70s. He had 2 strokes back to back, and he was brought into my clinic in Mexico. The survival rate of his condition is about 30 to 35%. And with love and understanding and our multifaceted mixed modality approach, we were able to get Christian 75% better, his words not mine, in under 3 months. He rolled into my office a vegetable, almost, and he walked out on his own steam. I was so proud of him and for my entire team. And what we were able to achieve was not perfection, but it was the ability to give somebody their functional life back. Okay, so we've explored our core essences of vibration, frequency, and energy. Our bodies crave hydrogen and oxygen. It comprises 86% of our makeup. But how do we best replenish this essential duo? Brown's gas. Now, not all Brown's gas electrolyzers are created equal, and it took me a while to find the best one. The IHG 600 is a revolutionary machine that is made by a brilliant engineer named Ed Wonder. It produces 25% more gas than the leading machine. It electrifies water molecules, turning them into a plasma powerhouse that supercharges the body's mitochondria, and the body's mitochondria is the battery of our cells. All right, so basically picture a spa day for your cells, and this can be every day. The IHG 600 is an ultimate rejuvenation solution. It revitalizes your regeneration and immune systems while energizing your organs. It is not just therapy. It is the essence of rejuvenation at its finest. And always remember, there is nothing in the blood to carry hydrogen like red blood cells carry oxygen, so you can never get too much. Saturation is where the real healing starts. It simply dissolves into the blood and randomly dissipates throughout the circulatory system. Think of the image of a soaker hose where the water weeps through the fissures of the hose. This is how hydrogen is distributed through the body. It weeps through our circulatory system. All right, so last year around this time, just before her 80th birthday, Morelia walked into my office at the intersection of degeneration and hope. Using many of our mixed modalities, therapies of bodywork, I paired this in clinic with Brown's gas. Morelia says we optimized her health and regenerated her tissues and got her off of 26 years of pharmaceutical abuse. Not her fault. And we also fostered a belief and motivation that the remaining years could be spent gracefully and actively intact. So she went back to the States after a few months of treatment and she bought her own machine. And I didn't see her for 4 months, and the next time I saw her, my jaw dropped. She looked 15 years younger. I'm not kidding. It was incredible. And even though I know the power of molecular hydrogen, it still couldn't take away the shock of seeing her literally Benjamin Button. Man, I couldn't believe it. And she informed me that she spends her nights breathing Brown's gas. I was never breathing it all night, but oh my God, what a difference. And she is around here somewhere if you guys want to talk about her incredible healing journey. And she is just one of so many. All right. DMSO, I love this one. What is DMSO? DMSO is dimethyl oxide. It comes from tree lignin, which is an important component in plant cell walls, and is a byproduct of when you make paper. In Western medicine, DMSO is used as a cryoprotective agent for organ transplants, but unfortunately it stops there. In holistic healing, we call DMSO the miracle solvent. In the early 1960s, Dr. Stanley Jacobs discovered that highly purified DMSO could bind other substances to it and penetrate the skin and organ membranes without damaging them. And in 1965, the FDA banned DMSO. And the reasons for this is because DMSO is a natural compound, which means no profit margin because you can't patent it. And Dr. Stanley Jacobs said it best: the controversies around DMSO are bureaucratic and economic rather than scientific. So it's so many, actually, I would say the world's leading ND on DMSO therapies now is Dr. Amanda Vollmer. She is amazing, and she's a wonderful guide, right? She's a wonderful guide into DMSO therapies. And her book, Healing with DMSO, has become like a pseudo-Bible to a lot of people in healing. And I have been baffled by the multifaceted nature of DMSO as an anti-inflammatory, analgesic, and antioxidant powerhouse. You guys should check it out. All right, click. Okay, this is Hannah. Hannah is an 11-month-year-old with Down syndrome. She faced sight complications in her left eye after cataract surgery, and allelopathic treatments failed. So she was slated for a surgery that would put an Ahmed valve into her eye. This means this would have to be drained multiple times a year, and she could not rub her eye. She is a baby, so obviously her parents did not want to go through with this surgery. So they came to me and gave me 20 days to bring down the inflammation that pharmaceuticals could not. So I developed an experimental procedure that had DMSO therapy, Brown's gas, and Boswellia saccharia in frequent applications. And after only a few days, we started to see the inflammation drastically decrease. The doctors said it was a miracle. Today, yeah, right. Today she sees the surgeon for the final time, proving the surgery unnecessary. And her ongoing protocols aim to completely restore her vision. Yeah. All right, let's dive deep into ozone therapy. So ozone therapy, unlike Brown's gas, which replenishes hydrogen and oxygen, ozone offers a supercharged oxygen option, it's a mouthful, with diverse benefits. This 3-molecule gas challenges the traditional medicine's skepticism, but primarily it induces the healing crisis. Quick insights include that it has anti-inflammatory effects, red blood cell rejuvenation, antioxidant powerhouse. It supports detoxification, it annihilates microbes like bacteria and fungus, and it aids in pain management, and it accelerates wound healing. It also stimulates white blood cell production, and in the battle against cancer, it modulates apoptosis and aids in tumor necrosis factor production. And additionally, it eliminates petrochemicals. This is versatility. And for a deeper dive, please explore Dr. Ross Anderson, the Ozone Doc's work. And he can put his money where his mouth is. He had cancer 3 times, and using high doses of ozone in his protocols, he is the definition of a survivor and a thriver, and a teacher of the knowledge they are trying so hard to desperately bury. The wonders of ozone therapy. All right, so in the realm of healing, frankincense has emerged as a captivating enigma. Now, not all frankincense is created equal. And if we're looking for high medicinal qualities, we look for 2 kinds of frankincense. Boswellia certa from Ethiopia, or best yet, Boswellia sacra from the Darfur region of Oman. And it has so many properties. These are just a few. Antibacterial and antifungal, anti-inflammatory, anti-cancer. I do want to stop here, though. Boswellia sacra causes apoptosis, which is unhealthy cell death. Most notably against 2 of the most aggressive forms of cancer, leukemia and glioblastomas. And I have seen the progress of this with my own eyes, and it's incredible. Stress reduction. When inhaled, frankincense oil has been shown to reduce heart rate, high blood pressure, and helps reduce stress reactions and negative emotions. With frankincense, there's more than meets the eye. From soothing sunburns to battling fevers, it's not just amazing for your skin or a life-changing toothpaste, which it is. My mouth has never felt better. It tackles candida, arthritis, bronchitis, ulcers, and so much more. But it's not just for humans. Animals benefit a lot from it too. Boswellia sacra frankincense has been helping me rewrite the story of holistic wellness in my clinic, and it smells so good. All right. Ivermectin, the horse paste. All right. It once hailed for defeating parasites, and as we all know, it's now fabulous to combat any flu. Ivermectin shines the potential cancer game changer. It disrupts cancer cells, curbs tumor growth, and even collaborates within existing treatments, possibly revolutionizing cancer therapy. Its impact, especially when paired with DMSO for conditions like multiple sclerosis and cancer, is astounding. Imagine an FDA affordable drug that's approved, reshaping cancer treatment in ways we have yet to fathom. Ivermectin rewrites the story of cancer treatment. It's showcasing boundless potentials of medical science with ivermectin in combination therapy. It is a new chapter in the fight of the horse paste. All right. Who we are. All right. We are iHeal Collective. We are a team of independent practitioners and light workers who work together to optimize your health. We rely on each other's experience and talents to help our patients excel at every level. We are passionate and actually care and believe wholeheartedly that we are here together to build a better future. And this is the paradigm that we've created. In our world, simplicity is key. We unite ethical practitioners, and then we educate them and forge a network that fuels the freedom cells. How? Through compelling content and media, we allow and educate our patients to find us. Our journey begins through a thorough intake process, a dialogue of our ethical practitioners' brain trust. This is kind of our version of triage. At the heart of this all is our stellar team, and it's the cornerstone of our mission. These connections intertwine and form a tapestry of healing. And with these robust communities in place, we unleash the media to enlighten the masses, reaching those with a freedom-conscious spirit. Some embark on an extraordinary path, diving into our mixed modality training, or maybe becoming a live blood analyst, or even joining our research and development team. This is an incredibly fast-growing industry, and if you guys know about the population, we know in the next 20 years, a lot of our population is about to age out. And become age, there comes health problems, especially within this world. So we need to create an army of healers. This is a paradigm where empowerment meets education, and individuals evolve into architects of their own well-being. I'm glad you're here to join us in this transformative journey where knowledge ignites freedom. All right, can my team please stand up? This is not my whole team, but there are a few of them here. All of you guys, thank you. Every one of these individuals has earned my respect and gratitude as they have helped iHeal Collective and so many people navigate the rough road we've been diverted onto. It has made us stronger and better light workers, practitioners, doctors, and people. We are done being cogs in a machine that has been breaking down for decades. We have been digging trenches deeper into ourselves because there is a war being waged upon us, not with artillery. Who needs those explosions of noise when you have something as quiet and as deadly as red tape? The climb back to sure footing isn't always as easy as putting your best foot forward. But we will not allow indifference to take the place of our mercy. We will not distract ourselves by whatever new controversy is handed to us. Diversion will not take the place of our focus. We will not sink deeper into abyss of lassitude while the cord that connects us to our humanity is being chewed through by greedy teeth. We will fight for one another. We will sidestep calamity like a matador taking on a bull and rise, as if the sun has taken the day off and hired you as a substitute, leaving a lesson plan in a world full of students that see no practical value in what you are teaching. Teach them. Today's lesson is the same as every day before it, because the class has been struggling with this assignment. Shine. You must teach this by example. So hand out sunglasses, and do not dim yourself for the sake of their comfort. This world is practiced that in demanding those who can cast light, not do it with such radiance. Show them. And remember, some people require more light than others, so make a little extra. Thank you. Thank you. It's my time. Thank you to Showing Kazan for all his wonderful words.
Round of applause. Make some noise. Bo and I. All right. You guys feeling good? First presentation of the day. We're going to keep it rolling along. I have the benefit, the honor of introducing our next speaker, who I've recently got to know. He actually performed last year, for those of you who came last year or watched, and he will be performing this weekend as well. And he's also, besides being a musician, hip-hop artist, he's a researcher of the occult. He's into crypto and new technology. But for today, he's going to focus on another aspect of his work, and that relates to the breath and the power of the breath and breath work. So please welcome Illuminati Congo.
It's great to be here to breathe with y'all today. Breath is that wondrous miracle that we have every moment of our life in any experience that's going on. And so to utilize our breath in its full capacity, in its full utility for all the different things it could be used for is a wonderful skill. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to actually do some breath techniques and talk a little about it, but we're going to get high with the breath. How many people have ever got high with the breath? Whoa, I love that. Sometimes I think maybe that the breath is the original psychedelic, in that all that we're seeing is like this trip because we're breathing. And Rick Strassman, who does research into DMT, he says that the lungs produce the most DMT of the whole body. A lot of people think it's the pineal gland. Maybe that's where we were able to see a lot of the things from that are happening from DMT processes, but it is actually the lungs that produce the most, according to his research. So we're gonna see if we could tap into that in a microdose type of way, a gentle way. We're not gonna be like in the mountains or jungles with the shamans this time, just gentle breath work. Breath also eliminates 70% of waste from the body. So tuning into what we were going over before with the previous information, we can actually heal and allow healing to come through our body just through breath. They say that breathing properly alkalizes the blood as well. Has anyone heard that? That breath alkalizes the blood? And so there's a lot of talk about what to eat alkaline, to eat electric, and that's good. But what if your breath is the main thing that really adjusts the pH balance of your body? I've come across that information, but really I'd like us to explore and experiment with it now. So I'm from the tradition of rebirthing breath work. Leonard Orr and Sandra Ray are some of my teachers. What we learn in that is how to actually uncover birth traumas, because that may be the source of all of our issues in the world. What if when little babies come into the world, the trauma that is pushed on them is what causes the fear that makes us contract and go into these groups that try to take over the world and become conspirators because they have lost connection to their inner child through the birth traumas and through the contraction of the breath. What if we're able to unravel that through our breath? What if we're able to be a presence of a healed human being just through the breath? So let's go for that. I like to do connected breathing. That's what we use in rebirthing breath work mainly, connected. So the breath is flowing like a stream. There's no pauses. We may do a technique that requires a pause in these tools, but mainly we're just going to be connecting the breath. So the first breath that we share in rebirthing breath work normally is 20 connected breaths. Has anyone ever done 20 connected breaths before? Few people. That's cool. Excellent. So it's 4 short breaths followed by 1 long breath 4 times. And that's 20 connected breaths all through the nose. The nose is the most optimal place to do our breathing. According to James Nestor, he has a great book called Breathe. You want to check that one out. But the nose is the most optimal place to do the breathing. So we're going to do 20 connected breaths all through the nose, 4 short ones, followed by 1 long one 4 times. Jump in whenever you're ready, but here's the thing. Don't avoid the sound of your breath. The sound of your breath may be the name of God, may be a name of God. So hear it, listen to it, go for it. 4 short breaths followed by 1 long breath 4 times. Very good. Now, on our exhalation, we really want to focus on letting go. We don't have to do anything on the exhale. That's the beauty of this breath. You go for it all the way on the inhale, and then let the exhale take care of itself. You just breathe in, let it go. You don't have to try and slow it down. You don't have to constrict it or restrict that exhale. Just let it flow out. The next one we're going to do is mouth breathing. But I thought you said that mouth breathing isn't the best. Well, that's the thing. Obviously, we could breathe through our mouth or our nose, so there's reasons and times for doing this. You don't want to make any type of breathing wrong or bad, but you want to know how to use it at the best times and what to utilize it for. What we found in rebirthing breathwork and in a lot of breathwork circles is that breathing through the mouth brings up a lot of deep stuff in the lower chakras. If you haven't laughed or cried a lot in a while, you need to feel your emotions more. Breathe big with the mouth open. So that's what we're going to do now. If anything ever gets too uncomfortable, do whatever feels most comfortable for you and follow your intuition. You can't do this wrong. We're all breathers, so we're all somewhat masters already. Yes, question?
Are we doing upper chest breathing or belly breathing?
That's a great question. So belly breathing is wonderful for ailments in the lower body. And upper, when you breathe up here, it's good for regions in the heart and in the head. So a lot of times people say, don't breathe in your chest. Breathing in the chest is wrong. No, there's no wrong breath. There's just ways to breathe that have different effects. So when we're doing the mouth breath, usually people find that it's best for them low down here, but you can experiment it. We're not specifying yet where the breath is in these breaths, because some people it just might be easier for them in a certain place. So really just go for a comfortable, full to whatever feels full for your body, and then just let it go. We'll get to some more specifications in a moment. So breathe with the mouth, 20 breaths. You don't need to count 4 short ones, 1 long one, just 20 breaths straight through with the mouth. Leave that mouth open big. Very good. Did anyone feel more intense sensations come up from that breath? It does bring things up quicker, for sure. Yawning is another breath. Do we need to practice the yawning breath real quick? Give a show of hands, anyone been yawning since we started the breath work? Just a few? Okay. Well, we'll do it anyhow because this is wonderful. God built, or whatever you want to call it, infinite intelligence, source, whatever you want to call it, built in things into our body that work. Yawning is one of them. So let's try to yawn. But as we yawn, connect the breath through the yawn. The same way we've been connecting the breath, try to connect your breath in and out through the yawn. I'm going to try to get a yawn. I'm going to try to look at someone to get a yawn, because they say that empathy, is actually what makes yawns contagious. So let's see how empathic I'm feeling today. Now connect the breath. Remember, do like a breath of fire or a rapid breath through your yawn when you get it going. Has anyone got it connected through the yawn yet? Connected there? Do you feel your eyes opening and like your face starting to get brighter? This is a Navy SEAL technique, and also athletes who they don't share this with other people. They like to keep the edge in competition, and this is one. Learning how to turn your yawn into a power breath is one of the secrets of breathing. Does anyone feel like they was able to connect through their yawn yet? What did you feel in your face? Did it feel like you did oxygen cocaine? Eye watering, yeah. That one will wake you up. So when you're yawning and you really want to yawn to wake you up, connect your breath through the yawn. The next breath we're going to do is leave the mouth open, but we're going to only breathe through the nose. This is not a technique done very often. A lot of people don't know about it. It relaxes the jaw. I'm going to tell you another thing about it. We were speaking about mouth breathing. Did you know that 80% of people in mental hospitals are said to be habitual mouth breathers? This is a statistic that's been found. So you don't want to be a habitual mouth breather. We're going to leave the mouth open, but just connect the breath through the nose just for about a minute or two. We're going to go a little longer than we've been going for these first times. Leave the mouth open. Breath is connected through the nose. Remember, exhale, you don't have to do anything. To let go on your exhale means that you can accept that you're able to let go. Our breathing rhythms are actually affirmations to the universe. That inhale tells the universe how motivated we are, how strong our aspirations and our devotion is. And our exhale tells us about how much can we surrender, how much can we be in the flow. Leave the mouth open, connect the breath through the nose. If you're feeling sensations, that's okay. If you're feeling change in temperature, that's okay. These things are natural with the breath. We're only doing small intervals, so we're not going to get full-blown open. It's just little tastes with these techniques to see how they work for us individually, that we may be able to take them into our own sphere and utilize them. Keep it going. Got about 30 seconds more of this one. Really go for it. There's nothing else we got to do right now other than connect the breath. Very good. Give it your best. Last 3. Excellent. Any good buzzing sensations in the body? Any good tingling? Anything feeling slightly microdosy? I got one that's real microdosy. Y'all want to do that one right now? Y'all want to get psychedelic? Okay. And these are gentle too. You see how we're not Wim Hof, and salute to Wim. He is so dope with all of the arenas he's working in. It's very powerful and very intense in a way. Sometimes it could be too intense for certain people. We're getting similar benefits with these, and it's a little more gentle. These are things just to observe and contrast with your own, through your own experience. The next breath we're going to do is, I call it 33, 22, 11. Those numbers always get certain people too excited. They're like, wow, those are angel numbers, master power numbers. And I'm like, I just chose it because it's just a good ratio for the breaths we're going to do. We're going to do 33 fast and shallow breaths. You know what fast and shallow breathing does for your body? that's beneficial, it helps alleviate pain. Fast and shallow breathing alleviates pain from the body. Fast and full breathing energizes the body. And long and full breathing relaxes and repairs the body. So we're going to do 33 fast and shallow, and those are more in that chest region. We're going to do 22 fast and full breaths, and those get drawn down to that navel region. And then the long and full breaths, those ones are usually what would be called a full yogic breath, which engages the navel, diaphragm, the heart, and even up into the throat and in the head some. You take that full breath on that when we're doing the 11 long and full breaths. So we'll do all of that through the nose, and then if you're wanting to, you can do it all through the mouth after. Yeah. So sometimes it's called a 3-part breath, but that can complicate things. So, and I'm not for complicating anything that God made simple. You look at dogs, you look at cats, you look at animals, they know how to breathe. You look at babies, often you see their breath just flowing so easy and so well. We really want that natural state to be the essence of all these breaths. But the 3-part breath does go down, pulling from navel, expanding diaphragm, and even the lungs expand out, the rib cage expands out up here. Now the lungs are primarily up here in the body. Lungs don't even go down here. So that's something also to be aware of. The lungs are like wings of the heart. So we'll start with 33 fast and shallow, 22 fast and full, and 11 long and full breaths, all through the nose. And if you want to after that, you can do it through the mouth. We'll reset after the first round. 33, 22, 11. I just completed my 33, 22, 11 with the nose. I'm moving on to mouth. 33 fast and shallow, 22 fast and full, and 11 long and full. If you're feeling it, jump in again. Those last 11 are sort of like the Wim Hof. Excelente. Is everyone feeling? Feeling? What you feeling? Lift. Peace. Some tinglies. Lightheaded. So there's no specific feeling you're supposed to have. It's just about feeling. Getting better at feeling, not necessarily feeling better. So the way we usually seal up is with a review and a freestyle of all the techniques so that we can remember them and combine them together. So the first thing we did was 20 connected breaths, which was 4 short ones followed by 1 long one. The second thing we did was just straight mouth breathing. After that, I think we played with yawning breath. Yawning might come up, so use your connected breath through your yawn if it comes up. We did breathing with the mouth open, but only through the nose. And that one brings the same benefits of mouth breathing without the danger of the psych ward. Then we did 33, 22, 11, which is basically about shallow breathing, how it's good for you to alleviate pain. Fast and full breathing, how it's good to energize, and long and full breathing, how it's good to repair, relax, and even go to sleep. So you can begin whenever you are ready. Combine them any way. Breathe through your nose, through your mouth, fast, slow, to the chest, to the navel. Full 3-part breath. Whatever feels good, go for it. Combine your own style. We're going to do this for about 2 minutes. breath going. Chi can mean spirit or breath. Prana can mean spirit or breath. Keep breathing. Inspiritus, where the word spirit comes from, means breath. Respiration, inspiration. Keep breathing. We're having a spiritual experience, the most universal spiritual experience we can have is the breath, the foundation of all spiritual experience, the breath. We give thanks for this biological, anatomical experience and expression of spirit as and in our breath. May we ever find our balance through our inhale and exhale, uniting them into each other, into original wholeness and unity consciousness. Confident that we have this breath of life to rely on, to get us through pains and suffering and to comfort us in our emotions, to alkalize us, to eliminate waste, to deliver DMT straight to the bloodstream. We're grateful for this breath together. Let's take one big inhale together. Amen. Aho. Thank you, breath.
One more round of applause for our brother Illuminati Congo, keeping us fresh with the breath. All right. We're going to move along to our next presentation. I do have a couple of housekeeping items, so if everybody could just, 1 second before you go, this is important if you hear this. First off, if we have any Spanish speakers here who haven't noticed yet, in the back of the room you can check out headsets, so all the talks are being transmitted live by our interpreters in Spanish. So if you have anybody else local who speaks Spanish, invite them to come here. All Mexicans get in for free, and they can listen to the talks live in Spanish. So please, while you're out promoting and you meet people, encourage them to come check it out. Second thing, and this is a big one, so everybody please hear this. For those who were here last year, you guys remember the beautiful green space? We're going to use that green space today. But for those of us in the room who enjoy cannabis, we need to be a lot more discreet this year. There is some police on site, not anything to do with us, they're just having a meeting today, but for those who were here last year, you guys know how big the smoke clouds were out there. So if you do enjoy cannabis, please be a little bit more discreet because we don't want anybody to have any issues with the policia. Good? All right, everybody. Our next speaker is Anthony Samaroff, who I've got to know over the last couple years here, and he's a really great guy. He's joining us from Scotland and been traveling around to get here, and he has a lot of valuable information to share relating to how to heal your body, how to heal yourself. So please give a round of applause to Anthony Samaroff.
Thank you, Derek. Thank you all for being here. I'd like to thank Illuminati Congo for bringing our attention to our breath because, as you might know from the program, my talk's entitled The Medical Mafia, and some of the stuff I'm going to tell you about might give you cause to want to steady your breathing. I always think it's good to start with a laugh because when you get into the reads of what's going on in the world, you sometimes can get a bit negative. I like to say, I'm fighting this with everything I've got, but I'm doing it with a smile on my face. Because if you get depressed, they've already won, and they'll sell you some antidepressants which aren't very effective and will have long-term side effects that are bad for you. So, you've all heard of blowing smoke up someone's ass, right? But I bet you didn't know that blowing smoke up someone's ass was actually once an accepted medical therapy. In the 18th century, it was believed that the coffee enema could resuscitate people, like drowning victims, for example, and it was commonly practiced along the banks of the Thames River in London, England, right? In the 19th century, oh, here's another thing. We've heard a lot about quack treatments recently, but I bet you don't know where the term quack doctor comes from. It is believed that, well, the quack doctors in the 19th century, doctors used to prescribe things like arsenic for just about anything that you could think of. And their toxic treatments caused diseases like Bell's palsy, but they'd put down the side effects to other things, other disease. That never happens these days, is it? Like, it's never that widespread medical treatments cause side effects and then they say, no, that must be caused by something else. So the Quicksilver doctors who prescribed arsenic and mercury, which we know to be toxic, for just about everything, came to be known as the Quick doctors. And in a southern accent, that sounds a little bit like quack doctor. So they say. In the 20th century, there's so many treatments that were mainstream that were later found to be ineffective or actually harmful to patients. Routinely taking out your tonsils or your appendix. How about the frontal lobotomy, electroshock therapy, thalidomide, which caused all those deformed babies, HRT for menopause, hormone replacement therapy, bone marrow transplants for cancer patients. They used to do the PSA prostate exam for prostate cancer until later on they went, oh, sorry, it turns out false positives all the time, and we just made a bunch of men incontinent or stop the tube from being able to function a lot, sexually, for no reason, right? And this goes on. And nowadays, how many treatments that they're prescribing now are they going to turn around and saying, oh, I'm sorry, we were just like disfiguring you and making you sicker, but we've got a new treatment that we know is going to work because the evidence is in the same journal that published the data on the last treatment that we recommended. Because, excuse me, I've documented in my articles incidences of when pharma companies were taken to court and sued over a drug, and the regulator was not given all the data. The journals could demand, and we'll come back to why they don't, all the data, all the raw data, but the only time we got all the data was once the drug had caused so much harm that the pharma company was sued, and the judge said, you've got to open up your books and show us what you're doing here. And then the expert witnesses went through it and went, oh, here's how they manipulated the data. In the case of something, the drug Neurontin, gabapentin, this was being falsely advertised for bipolar, even though their own studies showed that it caused more harm to bipolar patients than good. They were taken to court and sued. Obviously, what they were sued for was a lot less than they made the profits from the drug. But a lot of doctors don't even know that the court case happened because it was barely covered in the media. So they're going on prescribing the drug off-label to bipolar patients, even though it's a demographic for which it does more harm than good. So what I want to so whenever there's a drug scandal, people go, oh, this is the kind of thing that happens from time to time. Life goes on. But the incentive structure of the system doesn't change. So what I wanted to talk about today was when your friends tell you, oh, so everyone's in it, the journals, the regulator, the universities, why wouldn't I want to demonstrate why pharma money is behind all of these institutions, and that's why they're all on one side and it's not yours, okay? So when you understand the logic behind it, you understand. But I also don't want to just get into the negativity of it, because there's a story that runs through Eastern mysticism, which is this beggar is sitting on a chest. And, you know, a Baba comes by in his orange robes, you know, and he sees the beggar. The Baba's penniless as well, right? But he's not poor because he's rich inside. You know, he's got his spirituality. They're both penniless. They both rely on donations. But the Baba looks in his pocket. He finds the crusty bread that someone gave to him because he's a priest, and gives it to the beggar and says, say, what's that? What's in that chest you're sitting on? And the beggar says, oh, it's just a bunch of old rags. And he says, how do you know? He's like, well, I've been sitting here for 20 years. Maybe you should check inside again. He's like, I know what's in my chest. I've been sitting here for 20 years. Okay. Off walks the priest, and the beggar sits there and he goes, wow, who does he think he is telling me? I know what's on my chest. I've been sitting here for 20 years begging. But it annoys him, so he opens up the chest and he looks at the rags, and woven into them are fine threads of gold silk that he never even knew were there the whole time. When you see that America alone is spending $4 trillion a year on healthcare, if it had a healthcare system similar to Singapore, it might reduce that to $1 trillion a year. We are sitting on a gold mine. So it's the consciousness of the planet. When you understand that what's paying for all of this corruption could, with the right shift in consciousness, being turned around to prevent illness rather than treat it. Because most of the diseases people are dying from are preventable. I've covered, and if you go to 7pharmamyths.com and download my free ebook, I'll subscribe you to my Substack, and you can read some of the articles where I cover this stuff. Incidents of programs that prevented heart disease, diabetes, the biggest killers, and the private hospitals had to shut them down because they lost money when they prevented disease. But it shows that when people say, oh, people don't want to change their lifestyle, that might be true in a society where the doctor goes, okay, smoke less, drink less, eat less junk, lose weight, off you go. But if you have community, people can come together and change their habits together, right? So the money's in our hands, it's just going to the wrong people. So, how does this manifest? If you've watched the news in the evening in America, you might be surprised to see that almost all of the ads are pharma ads. Now, I naively believed that this was just to sell drugs. But here's the thing. If pharma companies are paying more money for advertising space during the news, what is the news not going to want to cover? They're buying favorable coverage. When I was doing my research, I found out that there was something like 500 drug withdrawals a year in the United States. Wrong dosage on the bottle, whatever, all sorts of things where they had to take the drugs back. So if the news wanted to, they could create a pharma scandal every single day of the week. So what I wanted to say was, there's a collusion going on between the. Does anyone here remember or heard of the Vioxx scandal? Yeah. So this was an anti-inflammatory drug that caused 140,000 heart attacks and 60,000 deaths because it was advertised as being safer than its competitors when it was actually more dangerous. This kind of shows how it works because an FDA regulator, Dr. Graham, tried to go against this drug and he was offered a promotion to shut his mouth. He was inside the FDA, but he didn't want to take the bribe, so he kept on talking and they tried to make his life difficult. Not only did the regulator have a hand in this, but top journals like the New England Journal of Medicine and the Journal of the American Medical Association both published favorable articles about this. Someone phoned into the radio when a representative of the New England Medical Journal was on the radio, a doctor, and said, "This study's no good, you have to pull it." And they said, "We can't go about policing every claim we make in our journal." The thing is, the New England Medical Journal made almost $1 million selling reprints of the misleading article back to Merck, the manufacturer, so they could post it out to doctors to propagandize them to think that this new treatment was safer than existing treatments. So this shows how we are meant to have objective science, but there's a conflict of interest here. If you go on to the Forbes released an article saying 75% of the FDA's clinical evaluation department's money comes from pharmaceutical industry. And this was meant to save people paying taxes, of course, but no, we can rush our drug through the regulator by paying them, and so the FDA is in receipt of money. Another article I cite, researchers at the people at the NIH, National Institutes of Health, were gaining hundreds of thousands of dollars from the pharmaceutical industry. So that's the journals and the regulator. I'll say a little bit more about the journals. You can sell, as in the case of Vioxx, favorable articles back to drug manufacturers. So where is the incentive to print articles that are saying drugs are less safe than originally thought? Who's going to pay me hundreds of thousands of dollars to get up and tell you that these drugs are harmful? So if you really want to get at the consciousness of people, doctors are like the social media influencers, if you like, of the drug industry. So not only that, in most states, doctors will have to do 50 hours of continuing medical education a year to keep their license, what I like to call continuing medical indoctrination. Because all of these conferences, continuing medication conferences, who pays for them? Pharma. I had a girlfriend in Mexico City. She's a doctor. She said to me, "Anthony, I never go to conferences that aren't funded by pharma." Why would I? Why would she? Why should she put money in her own wallet to go out and go to pay? And also think about it. They, and I would say deliberately, put doctors through this grueling 10 years of education, sometimes working 70, 80 hours, who knows, maybe more than that, not eating, not showering, just doing it. They're hardly getting paid. When they come out, they're 6 figures, maybe 2 times 6 figures in debt. Why shouldn't I go to a nice conference for the weekend with my wife and watch some presentations? I'm not stupid. I know Pfizer are trying to influence me to prescribe their drug rather than anyone else's. I'm not going to be influenced by that. Well, the studies show very clearly that you are influenced by that. The more time doctors spend with drug reps or at a continuing medication conference, the more likely they are to prescribe that company's drugs. And on the point of drug reps, they shouldn't even exist, okay? Why? What patients want is simple. The best treatment with the fewest side effects at a reasonable cost. I don't mind paying a bit more for it if it's safer and more effective than another treatment. What do pharma reps want? They want doctors to prescribe their company's drugs, regardless of whether there's a better treatment, right? So their only function is to muddy up the evidence and make it unclear to doctors what they should be prescribing. The only people that should be advising doctors are impartial authorities who are trying to look at the evidence and get the clearest evidence on the best treatment. But then we might be abandoning the project of pharmaceutical medicine altogether. But that's a talk for another time. So, continuing medical indoctrination paid by pharma, advertising in the news paid by pharma, journals get pharmaceutical companies advertise in journals. There was an instance in 1993 where a journal posted an extensive article showing that ads in medical journals would mislead doctors into prescribing wrong, and subsequently to printing that article, the pharmaceutical articles started pulling advertising from that journal. So they'll pull, there's another instance where, I can't remember the details, I hate saying anecdotes where I can't, there was a country in Africa that started, that put in emergency measures to allow the legal manufacture of generic AIDS drugs to save money because there was a lot of AIDS in the country. Team No Virus can turn off their ears for a moment here. But as long as you get the picture, what happened subsequently to that was the pharmaceutical company said, do you know what, we're not going to send any drugs to your country. Fuck you. Then when you look at Congress, okay, 5 out of the 20 biggest lobbying groups are medical related. With the first one, the biggest lobbying group is pharma. The second is insurance, which includes health insurance. The 9th is the hospital and nursing home industry. The 13th is health professionals themselves, and the 16th is HMO companies. So, what about the universities? Well, medical schools need money too. And even by the 90s, a huge percentage of the money going to fund medical schools was pharma. Academics can get paid huge sums of money to put their names on ghostwritten articles, and it looks good for them. Oh, I'm published in this journal. You can get a huge amount of money and get put on a speaking tour. You'll get sent to speaker training, 4 figures of speaking engagement. If you're a high writer, that's an industry term for someone who prescribes a lot. Because if the pharma company says our drug's good, that's just advertising. But if you get the great Dr. Hippocrates at the Institute of Medicine in such and such a country, that looks like it's bona fide. So then last of all, you have these advocacy groups like the American Cancer Society. A whole book was written on all of the ways that they just don't talk about preventing cancer at all. Their main thing is to encourage people to go to more screenings. 200 to 800 billion, depending on what official source you look at, on unnecessary tests a year in the USA. Sometimes the only reason why doctors sent people to unnecessary tests was to save a hospital bed. I will just send them for some tests. Other times it's defensive. I don't want to get sued. I could do a whole talk on unnecessary tests. 200 to 800 billion, but they're making tremendous sums of money from testing. So when you look, what these groups do is they advise the National Institutes of Health or the CDC on what they think, who they think statins should be prescribed for. Say it's, the high blood pressure or whatever you have. But the problem is that creates a node of a central power. All you need to do is then, once you've got the Multiple Sclerosis Society of America, you're a pharma company, you start saying, well, this is a good cause. They're advising multiple sclerosis companies, patients. We'll just put a little bit of money behind them, shall we? And then one by one, the people on the boards of these companies start being replaced by people who've left pharma companies, or by people who are favorable to pharma companies. Look, we'll help you set up, we'll help you get branches in more cities, we'll help fund your newsletter so that you can inform more people. Now, when you look at Dr. John Abramson, the author of Overdosed America and Sickening, two really good books, he found that 8 out of 9 of the panel members that were setting the guidelines for statins had ties to industry. Now you will get recommended to be put on a statin if you're just above a certain age, right? The problem with pharmaceutical medicine is you can only treat people when they're sick, right? Wouldn't it be great if you just identified a bunch of markers that maybe they might get sick at some time, and you go, well, we better put you on a blood pressure medication just in case, right? Pretty much, if you've not already had a heart attack, this is not medical advice, this is merely a matter of style, don't sue me. From what I can see, from what the experts say, unless you've already had a heart attack or cardiovascular event, it's a bad idea to take a statin. So the same happened with insulin. They're spending so much, in most industries, as the technology progresses, the price of things comes down. Why is it that we've got the greatest medical technology in the world, but we just keep on spending more and more money on healthcare? Why is it that insulin is more expensive now than it was 20, 30 years? They keep telling you, oh no, this is the great new insulin, and the consumer advocacy groups say, yeah, this is the great new insulin. Why? Because everyone on those boards is funded by the pharmaceutical industry, and that's how they're making money. So they're all on one side, and it's not yours. But the great thing is, you're on your side, and we are all on one another's side. So, let me see, how are we doing? I'm just coming up to the end. I like to end on something positive, but I don't have anything. We're all fucked, so. I'm really encouraged when we come to get, I've been researching this stuff for a couple of years. You can download my free ebook. I was hoping to have a paperback book ready for this. When we look at the human organism, in a physical level, it's just a bunch of flowing tubes. You've got these tubes that take in air, as we just talked about. You've got veins and arteries which pump your blood. You've got this big long tube that goes all through here, tubes in here. Don't stick your fingers in your neighbor's tubes, they might get irritated with you. We used to do that when we were in school, lick your thumb and put it in someone's ear. Okay, your hair is tubes. There's evidence that DNA takes the form of tubes, right? If you think about when you look around the world, what you're seeing is a bunch of straight and curved lines, right? It's the masculine and feminine. When they come together, they make a spiral. The human energy field is said to be a toroidal field, like a spiral. So what is making people sick, right? When one of your tubes gets cut, when one of your tubes gets smashed, that's an injury. But mostly what we're suffering from is tubes in trouble, right? Your tubes got congested. You breathed in bad air or something poisonous. You ate the wrong food. What happened? Your arteries started to get plaque in them. The plaque is there to protect. The body's not stupid. See, here's the problem. You go into the pharmaceutical industry and you say you've got a symptom. They think, oh, your body's doing something wrong. We'll give you a drug to make the symptom go away. No, your body's intelligent. If you get a fever, it's increasing the heat so that your metabolic processes speed up. If you've got a running nose, you should not be taking an anti-congestion to stop your nose from running. That's your body's intelligent flush mechanism to clean out your tubes. So, you ate the wrong food, you got constipation. That means you're reabsorbing waste matter from your unfully processed crap. You got an infection. Why? Your cells were full of garbage, and the bacteria. It's not the germ. It's the underlying condition of the body upon exposure to the germ. Can the germ come in and say, oh, there's lots of tasty food for me here to eat in this person's cells? They're trying to help you. They're eating your crap, literally. So, I believe if we can help all of your cells have the same functions as your body. They breathe in and they breathe out. More oxygen. Learn to breathe properly. They poop just like your poop. More water to wash the garbage out of your cells. They need, what do they need? Amino acids. They need vitamins. They need minerals. The doctor comes in and with the drug and your cells are saying, I run an oxygen drug. I run a water drug. Where's your amino acids? Where's your vitamins? Where's your minerals? I don't have any. Then why are you here, drug? Oh, the pharmaceutical company told me to be. So, when we begin to identify the basic needs of the body, we give the body the building blocks of healthy cells, which make healthy tissues, which make healthy organs, which make for a healthy body. And then we remove anything that ought not to be in the body. That means juice cleanse. That means water fasting. That means take a break from dry food, which is rehydrating you. Lots of fruit, vegetables. Hydrate the body from the inside all the way through the tube. And by that way, we can step away one by one out of the pharmaceutical model. And by making us more healthy and vibrant, people go, what did you do? And then we can spread this knowledge. And then all that money that's going to the pharmaceutical industry, we can start to redirect, to create healing places to teach people about this stuff. And you don't have to wait around for the politicians or the lobbyists. Stop watching the advertiser on TV. Turn around, walk away. And that's the manifestation that Derek has been talking about. Like, Buckminster Fuller, I was just testing to see if you were paying attention, said, you never change the existing system by fighting it. You change it by building the new system. And I'm so thankful to you all and Derek and all the speakers here because they see the way as we do, which is you can't control all external events. We change the world by changing ourselves. So please download my free ebook, 7pharmamyths.com. I've got a few copies of my previous book here, not many, but please buy them because I don't want to have to carry them off around Mexico. And I'm actually, this is my other job. I'm actually a psychotherapist, counselor, coach. And if that's something if you like my personality and that's something you'd be interested in, go to beyourselfandloveit.com and you can book a consultation with me and we can talk about, because it's all interrelated, isn't it? The physical, mental, and the energetic flow to the cells. We all said there's 3 main causes to disease. Toxins, something's in your body that shouldn't be. Deficiency, you need something to build your cells that isn't in there. And then there's the psycho-social, emotional energy flow to the cell, which is where I started. So thank you very much for your kind attention, and I hope to speak to you guys later.
Parallel Times is an information service to help you shift your life out of the matrix and into parallel society. Subscribe at paralleltimes.info for blog posts, podcasts, and interviews.
Want to offer an online class that helps build parallel society? Visit paralleltimesuniversity.info to see sample courses now launching, or contact Melanie Rubin at together@paralleltimes.info.
All right. That was one of our ads for our sponsor, paralleltimes.info. Melanie Rubin, who's going to be one of our speakers, she's got a table out there. Fortunately, the video didn't play for us audience here, but it played online. Check her out at paralleltimes.info. I also just want to do a couple more house cleaning items. We have one more speaker for the evening, and then we will be taking our lunch break. I invite you all to find some good food, come hang out in the park. Again, if you like to smoke cannabis, be discreet, go a little distance away. And I want to mention one of our other sponsors. His name is Peter. He's from the UK. He's been a longtime supporter of the Freedom Cell Network. And he is launching a project in Portugal called the Odolite River Valley Eco Center. And they're listed, all of our sponsors are listed on our website. But Peter is basically looking for more investors and more people who are interested in building an eco village, a intentional community, sustainable, etc., all the things that we're about in Portugal. So you can check that out at thegreenmanhotel.org. And of course, you can find those links on our website. All right, well, let's get into our final speaker of the night. You guys still, for the afternoon, excuse me. You guys still awake here? Still good? Come on, make some noise if you're still here for the Greater Reset 5 manifestation. And actually, before we bring on Luis, I'll just spend just a moment. I mentioned this earlier. So this year is called manifestation, right? When we talk about manifestation, that word, I personally think it sometimes gets dragged into new age, hippie, woo-woo, whatever you want to say. And people kind of think about and manifestation as this very airy concept. But I want to make it concrete for you guys. Everything that you're experiencing right now, the Greater Reset, or if you've watched my work grow, or Hakeem's work grow, or John Bush's work grow, is because not only do we say, you know, I want something, I want to make this amount of money, or I want to sell this book, or I want to teach people how to get free from the system. We don't just say things like that, talk about it online, post it on the internet, but we put action behind our words. That's how manifestation really works. Yes, it can involve prayer, it can involve meditation and setting the intention in your mind, but manifestation will not happen without action. And as I said, we launched this event in 2020, the middle of COVID, Great Reset and all this stuff. There was a lot of fear and a lot of panic in the air and online. And we said, you know what, let's bring our community together to focus on solutions. We started with activation, then we went to expansion, let's expand the ideas, integration, how do we start integrating the ideas, co-creation, how are we going to co-create a better world together? And this is the conclusion of our sort of 5-part trajectory. And we have some exciting announcements on our final day about what comes next. But so I just want to make that clear, when we're talking about manifestation, this is not some airy-fairy thing. We are saying, like, it's time for us to manifest what we want in reality. And just to make it even more concrete, when we started the Greater Reset, John and his wife, Rebecca, they didn't have their land yet. And myself and my partner, Miriam, we didn't have our land yet. But guess what? As we've been attending and participating and organizing these events, we've been taking the steps too. And now both of us can say we have land. It started from the first Greater Reset, and now we here at Manifestation, we've manifested what we wanted. It is possible. It is possible for you to achieve your goals. And that's what we're going to need to do if we want to counter the people who are meeting right now in Davos, Switzerland. I don't know if you guys have heard of them, the World Economic Forum. We're meeting right now with a very specific intention because we would rather our community, our worldwide freedom, truth, whatever you want to say community, reality-based community, to be paying attention to solutions-focused talks instead of obsessing over what Klaus Schwab talks about. So if that's what you're here for, if you're here for solutions, make some noise, guys. Thank you. All right, that's what I want to hear. All right, so I hope you're ready for a little bit more breath work. We've been focusing on different aspects of health. Again, today is Liberate your mind, body, and soul. So each of our speakers are touching on a different area. We're going to continue with our last speaker for the afternoon before we break for lunch. This is an old friend of mine that I've been blessed to get to know over the years, and he is a true, powerful spirit, a kind heart, and somebody that I hope you will give your full attention. Please welcome Luis Fernando Mises.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Hello, everyone. Awesome. So good to be here. My brother lived in Morelia, and I was telling him that, well, he can see my location. We share locations with the iPhone. He said, you haven't been to Morelia in about 30 years. And the last time I came, I also came via bus because my flight got canceled. So I got to Mexico City, and I had to improvise. My girlfriend was like, you already looked for buses, plans, or something? I said, no. The Lord provides. sure enough, found a way. One of my friends, I bought a backpack for him, and he came to pick it up at the airport, and he took me to the other bus station, because apparently the one on the airport doesn't go to Morelia. So it was a midnight flight. I got here around 4:30 a.m., not a lot of sleep, so excuse my eyes looking a little gray today. But I'm happy to be here. As Derek was saying, we've been friends for, I don't know, probably 12, 13 years. It's been a wonderful long time that we've been connected. Every time that they go to the Dallas-Fort Worth area, I host them. They're beautiful people. Speaking about manifesting, how many of you guys, I'm sure at least have them, have seen the movie The Secret? Oh yeah, about half. I thought so. So I got really inspired when I watched that. I first actually read the book. I didn't know it was a movie. Then I watched the movie, and then I did a lot of research. And I found out that out of like the 12 people there, only 3 were legit. One of them was Bill Harris. So I connected with him, and I started basically apprenticing under him, I don't know, for like 4 years. And then he passed away. But that's one of the things that he taught, manifesting. And he was really scientific about it. There was no woo, just like Derek was mentioning. I think it's extremely unfair to tell people just think happy thoughts or just create an image in your mind and suddenly you're going to get a check in the mail or something like that. That's terrible. There's 1% inspiration, 99% perspiration. It takes actually a lot of work. I do have a PowerPoint that we're going to present. I first started as a yoga instructor, 2008 perhaps, and my teacher, one of my teachers there, he's the one that introduced me to teaching plants. So Mike, wherever he is in Peru, he retired. He was actually making games for the iPhone. If you remember the dozer, he made that one. So breath work. Let me invite you to just pay attention to your breath. Just pay attention to it real quick. Oh, I get to click it, eh? Thank you. Sweet. So notice, how is it? Most times, most people just breathe up here. That's normal, but that's actually not the way we're intended to breathe. So I'm going to ask you to do 3 long, deep breaths with me. What do you notice different now? Notice again. A lot of you I know are seasoned healers and workers. Somebody tell me, what's the difference between 5 minutes ago and now? More relaxed, yes. What else? Easier, yes. What else? I'm sorry? Centered, yes. It grounds you. This is really powerful, and I will tell you, Mike, when he introduced me to teaching plants, we were doing ayahuasca in San Pedro in his house in Dallas, and at some point we got connected with some shamans from Peru, and it was significantly cheaper to fly them into Dallas rather than 20 of us heading to Peru. So we would do that, I don't know, a couple times a year, and one of those times, these are my 2 shamanic teachers. Don Jose, the one with the mandolin or whatever that is, he said, for the new people, ayahuasca takes maybe 4-5 hours, perhaps the rest of your life, and people laughed. But I felt nervous because I actually knew what he meant. And for all of you who've done ayahuasca, you know exactly that. It stays with you, and it's not a creepy staying with you. It's a presence where you can actually see more a lot of the time if you continue to do the work. So one of those times, he said, if the ceremony gets too intense, just breathe. You will notice that you're here, that you're safe, that you're okay. So that's a really fantastic piece of advice that I take everywhere with me. And you've noticed when you have problems, you feel the weight of the world on your shoulders. Sometimes what I do is I just go outside and I breathe, and I see the sky is blue, and I see the sun is shining, the grass is growing. Life is actually not so bad. All of those problems only exist in here. So we're feeding them by giving them our attention. So as we breathe, we're able to center, and we come back to the original state. So finding another way, one of the things that Bill Harris taught me was to trust my unconscious mind. What does that even mean? Whenever you're thinking, that's a pattern, right? That's a linear way. But he says you have to ask your mind questions. And if you are going in that direction, it will actually answer to you in a specific way. And it gets clearer and stronger and louder the more that you actually listen to it. So I was doing shamanic ceremonies for people, but some people that really wanted to do them, they were afraid of the legal consequences of taking ayahuasca, mushrooms, or San Pedro, which are the 3 plants that I work with. So I asked my unconscious mind, I need help. I want to be able to give people ayahuasca without ayahuasca, San Pedro without San Pedro. And that sounds stupid, right? But then I found breathwork, or rather, breathwork found me. I was at an Acapulco speaking probably 4 years ago, and after my speech, there was Sean Stone speaking about his experience in Hollywood as a libertarian. Sean Stone is the son of Oliver Stone, everybody knows him. So at some point at the end of his presentation, he says, hey, me and my girlfriend Kaya, we're gonna do breath work on the beach if you wanna join us. I'm like, who doesn't wanna hang out with Sean Stone? So I go, and you see there's a bunch of us, and we're laying on the grass, and we start breathing, and I'm just annoyed as hell because it's too hot. The ants are biting me. Why am I doing here? Why did I pay? This is dumb. I should just go to my room. I'm hungry. Whatever the monkey mind does best. But I know after a good dozen years of working with this that I should just keep doing the work, even though the monkey mind is trying to keep me safe. And as you know, the ego, that's its job. You cannot kill the ego because it's a concept, doesn't even exist. So what is keeping you safe means keeping you in what you already know. That's why a lot of people go back to toxicity, because that's what they know. So as I'm doing the breath work and I'm having the monkey mind do its thing, at some point I break through and the breath work starts doing me instead of me doing the breath work. And I connect with a legion of interdimensional beings, and I start crying because I moved to the United States when I was 16. I lost all my friends. My dad died, and we lost, like, his business partner stole all the goods and whatever. So, we ended up in a trailer park in Arlington, Texas, after, having gone to like preppy schools all my life. And, it was like a really big slap on the face. New country, new everything. So that, as I'm doing the breath work and I hear these voices, I felt a long-lost connection that I had regained. So, and I mentioned this even though I have a friend that told me that he feels put off by that story. I bring it up because as, I want to say anarchists or finders of other ways, a lot of times we feel lonely. We feel like our friends don't see us as well. They don't understand us in the same fashion. So to connect with something somewhere else was really powerful, So I want to share that. Now, at the same time, I want to share the other side of the spectrum, because I don't want you to expect to see aliens when you do breath work with me on Friday. I have a friend, and I'm not going to say his name, but he has cerebral palsy. I got him to do breath work in my house. And after we were done, he said, Luis, I didn't see any aliens. I didn't see anything at all. But I actually feel muscles in my body that I've never felt before. Damn. So what to expect? You can be crazy like Luis and see ancient aliens, or the other side and just be purely physical healing. And I'm not supposed to say physical healing because they're going to throw me in jail. But you know what I'm talking about. So after this, I decided that I had found, or it had found me. This is ayahuasca without ayahuasca. So I did I can't remember, like, as ADD, time is kind of a blur for me. 6 to 8 months of online training. And then I went to California for a week-long practicum. We went to the house of Sean Stone and his girlfriend Kaya in Montecitos. And we were doing breathwork 2 to 3 times a day for a week. Man, that was tough. How many lifetimes? Who knows? But it was really powerful. And they do that so we can actually understand and learn and go really deep. So when we do breathwork, a lot of times I say, let me go back. In shamanic plant medicine, we tell people, kind of keep to yourself, do your stuff, but there's other people, be mindful, don't be screaming, whatever. On breathwork, we actually say the opposite. Whatever needs to come out, let it out. So there were times in Montecitos when I was laughing nonstop for 10 minutes. And I don't know why. It just I was releasing stuff. So all of this, what that is somatic unwinding. There is this cycle of stress. And if we don't finish that cycle of stress, it stays stuck in our body. And if it stays stuck in our body, that's where you feel the armoring, as I call it. Some people feel it on their shoulders. Some people feel it on their belly. They can't breathe very well. Their legs, whatever it is that you struggle with, that is the armoring that you're keeping by not doing the full cycle of stress. So breathwork allows us to release all of that. And then you're back to yourself. You can breathe better. Sometimes people say, well, actually, I feel a little bit worse. And what that means is you've numbed yourself so long that now you're no longer numb and you can feel the shit. So you can work through it. You feel me? So as I did my practicum, I started traveling and doing a lot of this because and a lot of you will understand, this lifestyle, you don't choose it. It chooses you. And it's not like you're a puppet without agency because I want to be part of it. But it is something that you just don't know, and you end up in places that are incredible, helping people. And I need to be mindful of the things I say, but people that were suicidal, that are thriving. People that were in the midst of drug addiction, back at the gym, fit, whatever physical ailments, go back to homeostasis. This is truly incredible. And it does not, as I don't like to say healer, as somebody who brings the medicine, because this is some other thing that San Pedro taught me when I was doing San Pedro with Mike in his house. The idea of the hierarchy of shaman and student, he taught me that I needed to help eliminate that. So instead of me being the shaman and you being the student, I am just a conscious, loving witness. And I am here to help you hold space for your own healing. I don't give you shit, you work for it. And that's a lot more powerful when you work for your own stuff rather than when somebody gives it to you. You don't appreciate it as much. So as I'm doing this, it's been extremely transformative for everybody involved. Everybody knows this guy. Raise your hand if you do. Wim Hof. He's awesome. 100% inspiring. I just want to talk real quick about the difference between what he does and what I do. So my lineage is in through the nose, out through the mouth. What he's doing is activating the sympathetic nervous system. You learned that in school, fight or flight. That's why he's able to withstand cold, pain, XYZ. What I do is activate the parasympathetic nervous system, relax, rejuvenate, and all of that. I don't know shit about liver function, yet my body does it on its own. That's kind of crazy. Like, I cannot think and talk to my body. The only way that you can actually go to your body's nervous system is through breath. That's the key that opens all those doors. So what we do here is it helps us unlock and release all 4 levels. What are these 4 levels? Physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional. I'm not going to read them all. You can read, but I'm just going to point out a couple. Improves sleep, increases clarity and focus. This is something that helps you be more grounded, more alert, more in place. Most times in our society, we live on the neck up, and then a lot of times to the left hemisphere. Being dyslexic, ADHD, I'm on this side, and a lot of times I don't fit in. You can probably relate if you're here with me. So what we do here is it actually helps us achieve whole brain thinking. The corpus callosum, which is the little cloth in between the hemispheres, becomes stronger when you meditate and when you do breath work, and then you're able to create more connections. Obviously, delivers more oxygen to the body. Everybody knows the benefits of that. Emotional. It processes all ranges of emotion with safety. So, especially as men, we're told to toughen up and don't express your feelings and this and that, but that just creates a lot more toxicity. It's like when you can't poop, you're full of shit. So this is the same thing with bad feelings, bad emotions. You just become a not very pleasant person. So the idea is not to shove down the feelings, but to feel them all. Now the difference is you don't need to express them. There's a big, big, big difference. So I think to be fully human, to have full range of your humanness, you have to feel all your emotions. And they teach you a lot. Another thing that Bill Harris taught me was affect labeling. What does that mean? When you are in an argument with somebody and you feel anger, a lot of times you just react. Brah. But what takes you from that to consciousness is just 1 second of introspection, and you can just name your emotion. When you do that, you say, I am angry. That takes it down a couple of notches. But I want to take it further. Instead, you can say, I feel anger. You're no longer anger. That separates you from the emotion. Now you're the human feeling, which is your role. That's what's supposed to happen. You're not supposed to be anger, Okay, I'm being guided to share something that I've never told. Because of this work, there's a lot of attacks. Physical threats and also spiritual ones. And I've been dealing with some, and you're going to think I'm crazy, but sometimes my nervous system just gets attacked, and then I start having a blast of thoughts and emotions, like horrible, dying here, like somebody's going to die there, like, this person is angry, and I'm like, what is happening? So remembering, and then my heart rate goes up. So I was noticing that a lot of times people, when they react in these ways, that's not even them. That's the spirits of whatever emotion going through them, and then they believe it as theirs. So as I have gotten better with me holding space for myself on breath work, I just stop, breathe, let my nervous system do its thing, and see where that comes from. So I want to invite you to do that. That's a thing you can take. Don't believe your thoughts. Because even though they come from your head, who's talking and who's listening? That's trippy to me, right? So stop, stand back, see who is speaking, see who is listening, and then make your decisions there. So, oh yeah, I really like this one. Nowhere to hide. A lot of times in plant medicine, you get lost with all the wonderful things that you see, and then you forget about self-responsibility of healing. With breathwork, there's nowhere to hide. It's very safe. It's not like ayahuasca. The way I describe ayahuasca is like an angry grandma that makes you clean up your room. But at the end, she gives you cookies. Right? And the way I describe San Pedro is he's a very, very old grandpa that walks you around, holds you by the hand, shows you everywhere, and then you actually think that you came up with all of these wonderful discoveries. He's like so egoless, if you will, right? And then you're like, shit, I know all these things. And he's like, of course, of course. So mushrooms is something that I've been getting deeper into lately. I didn't used to like them as much because they felt dark, but I think now my understanding is I just wasn't ready for them. they have been so powerfully amazing. And as a joke, legally, I help people with microdosing too, as a joke. And man, helping them change even their facial expressions. They go from anger, despair, whatever other emotions that are not positive, into understanding that that's not them, that's something else that they're being carrying. And the little voice in your head that you hear, most times that's your parents. So you have to really realize when you're being chastised by yourself, you shouldn't be doing this, you shouldn't. Who is that? You know? So a really cool thing that Bill Harris taught me about it, if it's a, he called it not bad and good, he called it resourceful and unresourceful. If it's a resourceful strategy, keep it. If it's an unresourceful strategy, close your eyes and see where it's at in your field of vision. A lot of times it's closer to the center. Move that voice out here or out here down below and change its voice to like Goofy. And then it loses all its power. It's so powerful. So breath work is something that gently keeps you where you need to be so you can learn all of these things and make you aware again of who you are. I can't move it. Thank you. Mental. Mental clarity, deeper wisdom. You can access your limbic brain. This is, I really get excited about this one. So when you go to therapy and speak to somebody and you feel like you're just paying $100 an hour to talk and you should just do it with a friend, well, actually, there's partial truth to that. But if the therapist is worth his or her salt, she knows how to channel you. And what you're doing, what healing means, healing is an event that was traumatic that stays in your limbic system. As you know, we have 3 parts of our brain. The limbic system has no words. It's just emotions. So as you're talking, what you're doing is transferring that emotion from the limbic brain to the neocortex. Now it has words. Now you know, you can describe it. The minute that you're able to do that, you're able to talk about it as if it wasn't even you. That is what healing means. So don't shit on psychologists. The spiritual, I mean, we've been talking about it this whole time. I really like the idea that it supports a new paradigm of sovereignty. What does that even mean? A lot of times, we delegate our ability to touch the divine because we don't feel like we know. So we trust a priest, we trust who fill in the blank, for them to give us the truth, and then we just follow it. With breathwork, you're able to, so the way I explain this, when you rely on somebody else, it's like, do you remember dial-up internet? That's kind of what that is. Once you're able to connect with yourself in breathwork, it's like fiber optic. Instant, continuous connection. And it's extremely powerful. It's coming. Yay. So what is breathwork? It helps us recalibrate for personal and planetary healing. This is huge. This is absolutely huge. It's trauma-informed. As I was telling you, I just explained what trauma is, and I explained the cycle of stress. So we're going deep under the hood. And so a lot of times that can be painful. You know, one of the main things that I've learned is 95% of people that do plant medicine or breath work, the first 1 to 3 sessions are basically childhood trauma that they're healing. And one of my teachers, the way she said it was, before anything new can come in, old has to leave, because you're a finite vessel. So you get rid of all of that pain, suffering, and you keep it as experience, wisdom. So what is the technique? As a pranayama instructor too, you know there's difference in pranayama. Some Buddhist breath, you know, that the Marines use now, which is the square, inhale, pause, exhale, pause. And then you take it as many seconds as you can. That transforms you. What we do is circular breath. There is no pause, and you make a wave basically with your belly. So you inhale, and this is actually hard for a lot of people. You inhale, in our society, we want to look skinny. So when we breathe, we don't want to, you know? So here's the opposite. We invite you to breathe here like babies do. You've seen babies breathing? They don't care. They just inflate their belly. That's basically the cycle. You do that for an hour. It's called breath work for a reason. It's a good workout. So, tetany, that's a really good one. When I was doing ayahuasca, San Pedro, and all of that, learning under a couple of my friends, there were times that some people, their hands did this. I'm pretty sure you've seen it. That's called like tetany. But anyway, people will think sometimes that they're evil spirits attacking the person. So they will come with sage and they'll wave whatever things and try to get rid of it. When I was doing my breathwork certification, Kaya said, oh, that's tetany. She had a name for it. And she said, what that means is that you've been breathing so much that you're increasing the oxygen in your body. Your body's not used to it because what that is doing is making your body more alkaline. Okay, wow. Like, that's incredible. I do a monthly breathwork with a group for a guy that also does microdosing. And he wanted to test my claim. So he sent everybody that buys the microdosing from him that does breath work, pH strips. So they were doing pH strips from their pee or saliva before breath work and after breath work, and unequivocally everybody got more alkaline. He did a free service for me. That was amazing. Spectrum of emotional release, somatic unwinding, we talked about it. Encouraging free form. We mentioned about if you need to cry, cry. If you need to laugh, laugh. But also your body. As long as you don't hurt yourself, you're welcome to do it, or others. You're welcome to do anything. At some point, breathwork just took over, and I was doing full locust with both legs, and I was up in the air almost like 90 degrees. Like, this is amazing. You just start doing like asanas automatically. So this is something that if you let it, it can be extremely transformative. So I find it funny, maybe you don't. I was the only boy at in Montecitos, California. And you know, the way that women think is beautiful, I love it. But nobody took notes, everybody was just talking. And then I was like, I am so ADHD that if I don't see it in paper, it doesn't mean anything to me. So I took all the notes. And basically what breathwork is a bell curve. And we do intro, maybe a song, because I create also a sonic container that takes you know, when you do plant medicine, the shaman's doing something, right? So I do a little bit of that, but mostly I have a playlist. And then there's a crescendo, and then the apex, and then diminuendo, then shavasana, and then transition. And then intentional BPM related to the stage of where we're at. Sometimes, some people start seeing baby Jesus at the 7-minute mark. Sometimes people don't see anything until shavasana, like 50 minutes in, and then they stop the breath work and it hits them like a Mack truck. That's why I give them a 10-minute shavasana at the end. You need it. And then the transition, you know, I tell them whatever you need in this moment, whether it's journaling, yoga, stretching, maybe a longer shavasana, whatever you need, do it. And it is extremely transformative. It's one of those things that you get out of breath work what you put into breath work 10 times. So, process and integration, it helps you change your patterns. And I love this. Sometimes the journey is the easy part. When you're doing plant medicine, for as hard as that can be, sometimes that's the easy part. The hard part is to go back to your life and actually change shit. I have a few friends that, you know, they're like, oh, I need to go with Deva again in Austin to do ayahuasca because I'm still dealing with this. I'm like, no, bro. You need to integrate. Look at your notes. See what you, like, if it's the same message, bro, it's not a deficiency of teaching plants. You have to find healthy outlets to express your emotions. What does that mean? It depends per person and time. You know, some people like coloring books. I have a gym in my backyard and I punch the bag or I lift weights. or work. I actually really love working. Whatever it is that you do, just do it consciously. That's the secret, you know? Don't just follow something that you think you need to do. Bill Harris, as far as doing it consciously, he told me that somebody asked Maharaja, how can I stop smoking? And his answer was, smoke consciously. And it's like, what? That's not what you would expect, right? So if you actually sit down and ground and do it and see what it's doing, you would stop. That's big. So contraindications, because there are, the training is really like strong with this. Not everybody can do this. And, you know, it's kind of similar to teaching plants. It's a very tiny list that you can see here. Obviously, I have ADHD and I do this. But for the most part, a lot of these things have to do with pressure, like glaucoma. That's the pressure in your eyes. You don't want to go blind. Aneurysms, recent surgeries, epilepsy. You know, the more stronger ones are schizophrenia, psychiatric conditions. And I will tell you, one time we were in Austin, and then this lady just, it seemed like she got possessed. And there were like 4 dudes trying to hold her, and like even her tongue was like, that was pretty scary. We're like, damn. So apparently she had some psychiatric conditions. So if you have that, we invite you to not do it. I've been told that I only have a couple of minutes. So use emotions as guides. We talked about affect labeling. A lot of times we feel like we're not allowed to express, but do it in a conscious way. So what? You know, one of I live in Texas, the CEO of TXU, Mike Blevins, is my friend. Because I'm also a corporate trainer, I do servant leadership. And he at the end of every presentation, he's like, well, so what? Like, we just spend thousands of dollars here and everybody, so what? What are you gonna do with it, right? So when we first wake up, a lot of times we feel angry. So what? Now, I was an angry anarchist when I first woke up, like in 2010, 2009. You know, troops are welfare whores and this and that. You feel, I used to go, you know, the only route I knew, I got into politics with the Libertarian Party because I thought that was the way. You know, I felt like the world was in shambles and I needed to do something. And then I saw how the Libertarian Party got hijacked by the Tea Party. And I was like, fuck, we don't have any way, right? And then is when we came to this. So the idea is, the healer's first job is to control what's inside here, not outside. So what your eyes see is a reflection of what's here and here. So a lot of times if you think that life's pretty shitty, you have shitty thoughts. You have to change that. One really important thing that I learned is life doesn't get better or worse. It just becomes more complex. That's all it is. And you have to keep up with the complexity of life. My mom is 82. When she was born, there was not even TV. And now she has an iPhone and she FaceTimes with me with that. That's crazy, just in one lifetime, how much we've changed. So that's the testament, you know, it gets more complex. And there's still good things and wonderful things and painful things. I think I'm out of time. I will be around here if you have questions. And I do want to invite you to do breath work with me. I can only handle about 16 people at once. I went to Denver, and I did a little bit more than that, and at the end I was almost puking. It was tough. So what happens, the person that's holding ceremony, all the healing goes through their nervous system. And if there's a lot that's going on and more people than you can handle, it can break you. My girlfriend noticed, just grabbed me by the arm and got me walking around the lake, you know, to be able to give it to the lake, because that was tough. So 16, yes. 20, no. Unless I have helpers. And if there's anybody that is seasoned with shamanic healing, I will be happy to consider that. I don't think I have time for questions, but I'll be around. Thank you.
Yeah, make some noise for Luis, everybody. All right. Y'all feeling good? It's time for lunch. We're going to take a lunch break for about an hour and a half. Please come back at 2 p.m. We'll be resuming with the rest of the day's events. Miriam Gomez is going to start us off after lunch. Everybody who's watching at home, we'll see you in an hour and a half. Thank you, guys.
Hit that exit.